The stones of Baalbek. The Baalbek stones are a great mystery because no one knows for certain how the colossal stones were moved and placed. The ancient city of Baalbek, in Lebanon, is home to the ruins of the 2,000-year-old temple of Jupiter built by the Romans. But that temple is not the first temple to be built here. Prior to this, there was Heliopolis, the Greek temple for Zeus. Before that, there was a temple built by the Phoenicians for their god Baal. Just like this, Baalbek's history goes all the way back to 9000 BC and has been home to various civilizations. No one knows who the first one was, but we do know that someone built a massive stone platform here. Whoever they were, their engineering technology has left researchers puzzled for over a century. Let's take a look at the trilithons, the three massive stone monoliths that form the base of the Temple of Jupiter, each 62 feet long, 12 feet wide, and 14 feet thick, with a mind-blowing weight of 800 tons each. Astonishing the mind further, whoever built them then lifted them 20 feet from the ground and placed them so perfectly in place that not even a paper can slide between them. To put things in perspective, the most amount of weight a modern-day mobile crane can lift is 600 tons, which is 200 tons less than each of these stones. And if that wasn't enough, not far from these temples, within the limestone quarry where the trilithon originated, lie abandoned 3 more stones so massive that they defy the belief that they were man-made. The stone of the pregnant woman with a weight of 1,102 tons, the stone of the south with a weight of 1,369 tons, and the biggest one of them all. Forgotten stone weighing an astonishing 1,650 tons. It is the largest stone ever quarried in the history of mankind. To date, there is no conclusive consensus as to how these massive stones were quarried and moved and why they were left abandoned. Archaeological evidence shows that Romans were extracting huge stones for their structures. They would then cut them down by using chalk lines and wedges. The stones would then be transported to the site by using a pulley system and rollers. But these abandoned stones are bigger than any monolith ever created by the Romans. Naturally then, the mystery of the origin of these stones has given rise to many theories with otherworldly explanations. Scottish explorer David Urquhart claimed these stones may have been built by contemporaries of Noah using the same technology utilized for Noah's Ark. He posits the stones were left behind after the coming of the flood. Some say Cain, the biblical figure mentioned in the book of Genesis, built the structure to hide from the wrath of God. Others say Solomon, the king of Israel, built it with the assistance of jinns as a palace for the Queen of Sheba, but were then abandoned when the jinns went on strike. With all the technological advancement available to modern-day researchers, the real story behind Baalbek stones still remains elusive. The unfinished obelisk. Had it ever made it out of its stone bed and taken its position before Karnak in Egypt, it would have been the greatest obelisk ever erected. Instead, the unfinished obelisk lies in its cradle as obelisk creators' most profound tragedy, a grave reminder of the limits of human engineering. It would have stood 137 feet tall and weighed 1,168 tons, dwarfing all others. The largest survivor, the Lateran obelisk in Rome, rises 105 feet and weighs 455 tons. The creation of the obelisk was likely ordered by Pharaoh Hatshepsut of Egypt, who lived between 1508 and 1458 BC. The history of its origin is uncertain, but it is believed that the obelisk started to be built, possibly, to complement the Lateran obelisk, originally built in Karnak and later sent to the Lateran Palace in Rome. However, months or even years into the work, fissures began to appear in the granite. With each crack, its designers scaled back the size of the obelisk. But when they uncovered a profound fissure near the obelisk's center, the project was abandoned. Fascinatingly, the lower side of the obelisk remains even today, fixed to the rock. Obelisks created by the ancient Egyptians are a topic of great debate because they raise numerous questions that experts are still unable to answer to this day. How did they carve them into a single block? How were they transported hundreds of miles away? How did they lift the huge, heavy columns? Questions, still unanswered. Today, in its rocky bed in an ancient quarry, the unfinished obelisk lies as a symbol of the vanity of the pharaohs and the punishing labor of their hapless workers. Chief Inspector of Egypt's Antiquities, Reginald Engelbach, noted in 1922. Its history is obscure since it was a failure. It was in no one's interest to lay claim to the obelisk. and we have no idea who commissioned it. As I stood beside its enormous bulk, I kept whispering to myself, "The audacity, the audacity. You just can't believe that anyone would try to carve, much less move, much less erect such a hillside of rock." He continues. As I stepped through the deep rock-hewn trenches that define the obelisk, my shoulders brushing the rock on either side, my mind was not on the pharaohs, however, but on their quarrymen. For months and months, they worked in that cramped space under the unrelenting sun, and all of it for nothing. Another unexplained aspect of this obelisk is that it is around 30% larger than any other Egyptian obelisk. That only indicates the important role this obelisk was meant to assume, but never could. The Hypogeum of Halsafleni. One of Europe's most incredible mysteries is a 5,000-year-old, 3-storied ancient underground monolithic structure called the Hypogeum of Halsafleni in Malta. Believed to be the oldest prehistoric underground temple in the world, the subterranean structure is shrouded in mystery. It is estimated that the remains of 7,000 individuals were found in the Hypogeum, many of them lost early in excavation. A small percentage of the skulls reportedly had an abnormal cranial elongation, fueling speculation about the people who occupied the Hypogeum and their practices and beliefs. Paranormal activity has also been reported here. Discovered accidentally in 1902, this belief-defying structure is a testament to the architectural expertise of prehistoric Maltese. Carved entirely by hand using antler picks and stone tools, it is a massive complex extending around 36 feet below the surface. The labyrinth consists of a series of cryptic chambers, the access to which is gained by different corridors. The principal rooms distinguish themselves by their domed vaulting and by the elaborate structure of false bays. Another remarkable feature of this structure is how it uses a careful direction of light from the surface to penetrate into the lower chambers, with intricate patterns painted on portions of the ceiling with red clay. One of the main chambers, called the Holy of Holies, appears to be oriented in a way that light from the winter solstice would illuminate its facade from the original opening above. But the most remarkable characteristic of Hypogeum, which has been attracting experts from around the globe, is the unique acoustic properties found within its underground chambers. It is believed that the Hypogeum was originally used as a sanctuary, possibly for a prophet or an oracle. It is for this reason that a unique chamber demonstrating incredible acoustic properties has been dubbed the Oracle Chamber. A word spoken in the oracle room is believed to be magnified 100-fold and is audible throughout the entire structure. Thus, the effect upon the inhabitants can be imagined when the prophet spoke and the words came thundering forth through the dark and mysterious place. A research study carried out found that sound resonated in this structure at 110 Hz, which was similar to the frequency at many ancient chambers. The question is raised, was the chamber constructed in such a way as to create acoustics that would affect the psyche of people, perhaps to enhance mystical experiences or induce trance-like states? We may never know for certain what transpired within the Halsafleni Hypogeum 5,000 years ago, but this place is easily one of the most mysterious places ever discovered. Yonaguni Monument. In 1986, Kihachiro Arataki was diving off Yonaguni Island in Okinawa to explore the hammerhead sharks in the area. What he found instead created ripples of excitement among researchers, triggering a fierce debate. He came across a peculiar structure that resembled a complicated monolithic pyramid with multiple steps leading to the top, with perfectly symmetrical edges and angles. Standing 25 meters tall, 150 meters long, and 40 meters wide, it accompanied other structures resembling the remains of a castle, temples, an arch, and a stadium, all of which seemed to be connected by roads. Little did he know he had just uncovered one of the greatest underwater discoveries ever. The discovery kickstarted a fierce debate that goes on to this day. Are the structures man-made, or are they natural formations created by nature's elements? Researcher Masaki Kimura believes that the structure is the remains of an ancient settlement, an elaborate monolith built by an advanced prehistoric civilization. The main feature of the monument is a rectangular formation made from sandstone measuring 150 meters by 40 meters. On top of this huge structure is a formation called a turtle. Close to it are the stairs carved into the sandstone with near-perfect straight angles. Also cut into the monument are what many believe to be depictions of animals, strategically placed holes where posts might have been, and aesthetic triangles. According to Kimura, it dates back 10,000 years and may have been a part of the lost continent of Mu. Mu was a mythical continent in the Pacific, whose story parallels the myths of Atlantis. Supposedly, a great cataclysm, such as an earthquake or hurricane, submerged this land beneath the sea. Some think it's all that remains of a long-lost Pacific civilization, possibly built by Japan's prehistoric Jomon people who inhabited these islands as early as 12,000 BC. On the other hand, many believe this is the result of a natural phenomenon carved by natural processes over thousands of years. Experts believe that in places with faults and tectonic activity, structures with straight edges can be created in sandstones. Supporting this version are other theories that submit that while the structure looks like a building with steps, one cannot actually go up the steps for they are too big. But to back his claims about this place being a remnant of a fallen civilization, Kimura notes that the region, in the Pacific Ring, is famous for its intense seismic events. A tsunami, whose waves towered some 40 meters high, struck the Yonaguni Island area back in 1771. A research conducted at the University of Tokyo suggested the area is blighted by tsunamis every 150 to 400 years. In short, a similar event might have drowned out the Yonaguni monument. To put the matter to rest, two main expeditions to the site took place to examine the monument, one in 1986 and then another in 1997. Neither expedition was able to arrive at any definitive conclusion. The Rock Ship of Masuda. In the quiet hills of Asuka, in Japan, the Rock Ship of Masuda can be found hidden among the bamboos, looking as if it's just crash-landed from another planet. Despite its strangely smooth surfaces and angular indents, the structure has been around for centuries, its purpose still unknown. The area of Asuka is known for its carved granite stones, many of which are fashioned into the shape of human-like figures and animals. It's uncertain when they were made, but some have argued they were built around the 7th century CE, towards the end of the Kofun period. The Rock Ship of Masuda is the most unusual and largest of them all. The carved stone measures 36 feet in length, 26 feet in width, and 15 feet in height, roughly comparable to the size of a luxury tour bus. It weighs around 800 tons. The top has been completely flattened, and there are two 1-meter square holes carved into it, and a ridge line that is parallel to both holes. At the base of the stone are lattice-shaped indentations, which are believed to be related to the process that was used by the builders to flatten the sides of the rock. Its unusual shape and size are especially impressive when you realize it was made out of granite, a notoriously tough rock that's extremely difficult to cut and carve. To date, there is no answer regarding the origin and purpose of this mysterious stone. A common belief is that the carving was made by Buddhists, perhaps for some kind of religious or ceremonial purpose. However, Masuda does not resemble the style or construction of any other Buddhist monument. Another suggestion comes from the name of the rock itself, the Rock Ship of Masuda. It has been suggested that the stone was carved in commemoration of now drained Masuda Lake, which was once located nearby. Another popular theory is that it was used as an astronomical observation point. Evidence for this perspective comes from the ridgeline across the top of the rock, which runs parallel to the mountain ridge in Asuka and lines up with the sunset on a certain day of the year called Spring Duyu Entry, which occurs 13 days after the sectional solar term, pure brightness. This day was important in the lunar calendar as it signaled the beginning of the agricultural season. Some historians also believe that the rock is just the remains of a tomb that was designed for members of the royal family. However, this does not explain the square holes on top, nor have any bodies ever been found. Despite a plethora of possible explanations, the true purpose of creating the Rock Ship of Masuda is still unknown. As more research continues into uncovering the mysteries surrounding these structures, these massive stones may one day reveal more secrets of the ancient world, offering more insights into the history of our ancestors. But for now, they raise more questions than answers. To continue your ancient adventures, subscribe to our channel and press the notification button. Till the next time, this is Ancient Secrets.